Hi, I'm Jason Eswine, marriage and family therapist in San Jose, California. I specialize in spiritual emergence, energetically sensitive people, which is about 20% of the population, and those coming into their gifts, whether they be empaths, clairvoyants, etc. It's quite surprising to me that this has become my specialty. I never would have thought this a year ago, but it's been a real blessing and an honor to serve that population. So today I want to talk about the spiritual path of the empath and the narcissist. Now I'm careful with the word narcissist because that term is thrown around far more than it needs to be, but let's just say someone that might be more self-absorbed and more self-focused and not aware of their effect on other people. So the spiritual paths of the empath and the narcissist are very, very, very different. So the empath, especially, let's just say the wounded empath, or someone who doesn't either realize they are, which many of them don't, and they think they're losing their minds when they sense different things and empath different things. The empath's journey is to be more bold and polite at the same time, to step into their warrior energy, meaning, I say this over and over in different videos, the willingness and ability to say no, and to be able to tolerate your discomfort when people are angry at you, disappointed, you name it. There's all kinds of ways that people can punish. So to be able to stay grounded and centered even when people are disappointed with you, that's one of the biggest tasks of the empath, or the person who is coming into that realization. Now the narcissist is very different. They're not necessarily concerned with other people, and they tend to make decisions and say things that can really hurt a lot of other people regardless of, what the consequence is. So they actually need to learn how to soften. They need to learn how to be more empathic, if you will, or to feel their feelings more and to really realize, oh wow, I'm actually affecting other people, So they're very different paths. So I'm going to be talking more specifically about the path of the empath and how that dynamic can often play out. One of the things that I find often, and you may have participated in this too, I certainly have, is there can be, with the wounded empath and the narcissist, there can be a vibrational match to where they're actually ideal to be in a relationship. And what this is about is, for example, there's abuse in general, right? Some will abuse other people, and some people will abuse themselves. The narcissistic type energy can be more about focusing on abusing other people. The empath or energetically sensitive person, they tend to abuse themselves. So there's two kinds of ego. When people talk about ego, they're usually referring to the superior ego, like, oh, well, I'm a vegan, you're not, so I'm better than you. Or, oh, well, I drive a green vehicle and you don't, therefore I'm more sophisticated or responsible. So that's more, I'm better than other people. The inferior ego is probably the more difficult and more insidious thing that's even reinforced by society, and that's, like being the martyr and the victim. And that tends to be what energetically sensitive people marinate in, is that's being less than. They'll find reasons to hate themselves or beat themselves up or compare themselves to other people, always coming up short, of course. So basically they're in a victim position. So abuse is abuse. Whether someone abuses other people and or themselves, if you have narcissistic type energy and you have a victim type energy, they are perfect. Because basically, we're not talking about fairness or right or wrong. We're talking about a broadcast. We're talking about an energetic signal that you're broadcasting. So if you spend a lot of time, and this is more towards empaths or energetically sensitive people, if you spend a lot of time hating on yourself, if you believe the lies that go through your head about not being good enough, oh, I'll never get there, that includes a lot of shame, regret, guilt, all those things that do not help you. I promise they don't. And they're almost completely based in lies. If you believe that about yourself, then you are in effect punishing and torturing yourself on a regular basis, sometimes a minute-by-minute basis. So you're abusing yourself. So energetically, you're broadcasting, I'm worthless, I'm not good enough, I'm not... And that is a perfect vibrational match to someone who is an abuser, or, it don't have to be necessarily a narcissist, but someone who takes their stuff out on other people. So that is a perfect match made in hell, basically. So one person hates themselves, the other person abuses them. There's no difference. Because energetically, it's as if the question is, well, if you're going to abuse yourself, why shouldn't somebody else? So you're both in the same frequency. Whether you're doing it to yourself or you're doing it to others, abuse is abuse. It doesn't matter what form it takes. So that's why it's so important for someone to realize, first of all, if they are energetically sensitive, as well as to step into their power and to practice stepping into their warrior energy, meaning setting boundaries, saying no, and learning to really love and value themselves. Because when someone does that, the need to abuse themselves or take abuse from others vanishes. So they're no longer a vibrational match. One thing that I've found, and this is when I started taking possession cases about 1.5 years ago, what I've found is when people surrender, meaning when they stop abusing themselves, when they start trusting the universe or source or God, whatever you want to call it, as soon as they can relax and stop beating themselves up, those things that might be around them or in their energy field, they vanish. Because you can't have love and fear simultaneously. You can't have them there at the same time. So it's remarkable to see someone shift out of self-hatred, blame, guilt, and the results of what happens after they do that. And it can happen instantaneously. It doesn't take years of therapy. It's not true. It's taken me years of doing this to learn it doesn't take years. So that's the dynamic of the empath who's finding out that they're an empath, especially if they're wounded, which many of them are. And when they step into their power, they no longer attract abuse externally, and they're not abusing themselves. So I'd like to leave you with a couple of tools and tips for those who are energetically sensitive and or coming into their gifts. Number one, I can't emphasize enough the power and healing properties of meditation. My favorite app is Headspace. You may find your own, but it's the most user-friendly app I've seen. That's going to help you calm your nervous system when you either empath something from somebody else. It could be, I call it kind of the negative triad of anger, fear, or sadness. If you empath that, and it can kind of hijack your nervous system at first, meditation helps you calm yourself and soothe yourself and raise your vibration when that happens. That will be a game changer if you do it. Like I said, if I didn't say it before, Headspace is my favorite app. It's the most user-friendly, amazing app there is. Number two, get out in nature. I'd say at least 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, just to walk around, walk in the sun, take your shoes off even and walk barefoot on the grass and even the earth. It can really help to ground you. And also gratitude. Just to make a gratitude list. One thing I've done, I still have it on my Evernote app, is if I got a compliment from somebody, like say Tina said something really positive about me or something like that, I'd put the date, I'd in quotes say what the person said, who said it, and then later if I essentially had my butt kicked, whether it was from work or personal life, I would go over some of those compliments and remember how good it felt to receive those. And that can be a game changer too, because gratitude is one of the fastest ways out of the dark when we're in it. So I hope you have a good week, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Have a great day.